The boots.
Wake up, wake up.
No. He's a new guy. He knew, sorry. You have your shaker? Or is it in the bag?
It's in the bag. I can go grab it. Do we need more water while I'm down there?
Yeah.
Because I barely
Yeah.
filled it up.
Oh, that's fine.
Is good? Or yes?
Yeah, just go ahead and do it. Thank you. Welcoming everybody. Who's that?
Hey, stop that. Stop it. Stop.
We got welcoming Monica. Guess we changed this up. Oh, I guess we can still use the
Yeah, you
mix.
still use that one to talk, I would think.
And I could boost it. Temporary change. Test. Welcoming everybody. Test. Wow, it's so low. So. Welcoming Maria. We got Brother Charles here. Brother Sean, Sister Emily went to get some hot water. We got Dino. We got MEF. Mephias. Nice to see everybody. Queen Emily will arrive soon. So, and of course, I've been ill, I would say. And we're going to be live streaming onto Facebook right now. We just got to enable it. How's everybody doing? Welcoming Davey. Yeah. When I feel good, I've been streaming on TikTok randomly, but once I feel better, I'll be on Insight Timer and all platforms. Why? 'Cause serve God, serve humanity. Welcoming Jill. Tomorrow we actually have an event. It's all good, you know. My karma. You cannot run from your life. Sometimes life needs you to experience something. You just gotta go through with it.
What's that on you?
So tomorrow we have an event at Unity of Houston. Maybe our last major one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, other than Tuesdays, which I think is a great transition. You know, it's about clearing the karma.
Mm-hmm.
Do your best to respect the people who help you get to where you're at. And eventually, if they're, you know, if my brothers and sisters are interested, then they'll be on TikTok too, which is another difficult, energetic app, and on Insight Timer. And Brother Sean is back, the famous father who has been away for 2 weeks. Because of why?
My truck the first week, and then I was sick the next week.
Oh, okay.
Still getting over it.
Oh yeah, his truck was down.
Truck broke down the first week.
And then second week, Evie or
No, I was sick.
You were sick. Okay,
Yeah.
so truck was sick, and then
I was
he
trying not to get you guys sick, and then you ended up getting sick anyways.
yeah.
It didn't matter.
It was more about just taking care of yourself, the best you can, and we like to keep the momentum going. Like even though I'm sick, my mind's like, I'm like I'm pulling, I'm thinking catapult, because that's what the master teaches. Get moving, and get back to high elevation. He gets sick, but he's like, I could tell whenever he does get sick, he doesn't lose momentum in his mind, Are you going to be playing in the park on Sunday and on Insight Timer? I've been trying to post on TikTok, so I'm just exploring to see, because TikTok doesn't allow Insight Timer. It's such a dominant app that it doesn't allow multi-streaming.
Oh, on your phone.
Yeah, from the phone, and the same thing so every app wants you to just use one app, and spiritual people aren't like that, right? And I would like to be on Twitch, on TikTok, on YouTube.
Just have multiple phones.
I have been thinking about that, but then I realized you have to just experiment.
Yeah. Yes, but we will be at the park on Sunday. Where he's streaming is TikTok.
Yes. And overall, what have you been noticing this week? Let's go to Sister Emily. Observations?
I've noticed a lot of people getting sick. I had to send home an employee today, and I think that has to do with, the energies being a bit higher last week, and just, healing our bodies, healing ourselves, and a good reminder to take it easy, but also getting back on it whenever you're ready.
It all of a sudden got cold, remember? It was a hot. I don't know where the cold returned.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been an interesting energy. Specifically at work, I haven't been streaming this week. I've been mainly focused on me and my job because it's been in higher demand recently. So I think I'm finding balance. I think I'm finding balance in life right now, and we'll see what happens. Balancing fitness, balancing stream, balancing work, balancing myself, and everything in between.
How about Brother Charles? What's your observation this week?
Beginning of the month is, for me, usually very calm at my job. The end of the month is everyone scramble. So I'm enjoying taking care of some of the little things that haven't been able to circle back to, and making sure things don't fall through the cracks. When we're juggling a lot of things, it's easy to overlook certain things, but it's good to get a little movement, even if it's just a little bit once a month, that you get to revisit something that needs to get done. And I wish that I had the resources and the engagement from leadership to actually get more movement done, but I have to be compassionate with everyone else.
Yeah.
Everyone else is very overloaded, overworked, getting beat up. So it's okay. I can just get a little bit done whenever I can, and it'll be okay.
Beautiful. Lots of volatility in the world. The collective energy has been rough. Yes, lots of protests you see in the colleges, lots of... But under the radar, we're so blessed. We have it so good we look for problems to fight about.
Protest for other people's issues.
Yeah. Yeah, like we got so good. We got kids and college students standing up for different things. That's not about here, which is that's how good this country has it. And this is why we do our work. Because when we don't, when our life, we're not fighting for peace in our own life. We're looking to fight peace for somebody else's life sometimes. Which is why in the beginning, many people, light workers, humanitarians, we look to save Mother Earth. We look to save something, but we feel like crap inside. And that is very rampant in humanity, because loving ourselves can be really hard. For what, it's just difficult sometimes. But when we, as practitioners or as elders, when we remember gratitude, that's it. Like being ill, right? It reminds you, like there's people who feel like this all the time on the streets. In a tent, no food. Their source of income, they have to sell their body, right? We have it so good that sometimes we forget. But I come from an immigrant family that reminds me of humble beginnings. But some people did not grow on humble beginnings. They grew up on Fortnite, right? They grew up on the iPad. We come from a generation where we didn't start off on social media. And there's kids who have been raised on Roblox, which is a video game. And so much comfort where they've never been challenged. So they're looking for a battle because sometimes you want something to fight for, and I don't blame them. Right? Like the thing that I was willing to fight for was going to street racing. I was ready to fight to go to the clubs. Right? I was ready to, eventually when the awakening happened, I was wanting to save people. But then now I just teach people, love your damn self. You can save yourself. So a lot of fast energy this time of the year, because summer time is coming. And then when winter time this year is going to be terrible. Because if you just look at the energy throughout the year, the higher the heat, the lower the cold. And then the next year is going to be, right, because people chase the highs of life. But when we don't have as much money to purchase the highs on Christmas, because, turkey costs more, Halloween costumes cost more every year, even though it's all plastic, people start questioning their reality. And what will we do? Still love our damn self. Because this is if our ancestors can be happy with less, then we can do it too. When I look at America, it's like we're complaining about the quality of meat, Some places, they don't even care about refrigerating meat. Mm-hmm. Right? Like when I've gone to Thailand, sometimes you can tell that squid right there, it has not been refrigerated for a while. Mm-hmm. But that's just how it is, right? We're so blessed. Everything's so clean, so healthy. There's an inspection. people are willing to climb mountains to be here. They're willing to die to get here. And we wonder why. Because we get to do dope stuff like this in this country. We get to do this without thinking about how can I capitalize on people. We can just show up and do our thing and unite humanity. And so, thank you for being here, and let's just make music and drink some tea. How's the audio, everybody? Joel says, my sick kitty crossed the rainbow this week, but grateful. Had him for 14 years. Hey, shout out to your kitty cat. What's your cat's name? Well, we can do a little celebration for Jack today too. is Brother Charles. We got two bearded men in the circle. One famous father and one maybe to be father, who knows. And bald guy and Queen Emily Richardson still here. Richardson. Thank you, Sister Nancy and Laura, for being here. How's the tea? We only drink the good stuff around here. Only that good stuff.
That good.
It's black tea, but you know, still feminine energy in it. Hope you're enjoying, everybody. One more tune and then we'll see if we want more music or just keep vibe or just say hi to everybody, okay? Not attempting to sing today. Not sure if I even can. We do this every Friday. Welcoming Louise, Ola. Of course, we got Brother Sean back from two weeks of not being here. His beard is longer.
I just shaved, actually.
Yeah. He trimmed his long beard, still long.
Yeah, for sure.
And we got Queen Emily Richardson and her animals, as you usually see them roam around. We got Brother Charles here, the drum master in the corner. And then I'm the bald guy here, Brother Tanet. What did you feel today, brothers, sisters? Thank you for being on here. Denise, turn on a dime. Rage 95. We got John. Yes, every Friday we gather to do this. Sister Emily has been streaming, not this week, right? Not last week.
The week before, yeah.
The week before, yes. Brother Sean, you stream
I stream this
Tuesday.
week. Yep. Tuesday, Thursdays.
I normally stream also Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I've been ill. So it just kind of getting caught up with money. And Brother Charles doesn't stream yet. Don't worry. Eventually, he might. Link in the bio. How's the vibe today? What did you feel, Brother Sean?
A lot of energy, I think, from the tea, and just being myself again, working out, provides me with a lot of energy. I've been missing that the past few weeks. But yeah, a lot of energy, but feeling good in the flow. Energy, but still grounded.
Yeah.
So, feeling very good.
Yes, 2 weeks not. It's good to ground yourself back to a group.
It feels good to be back for sure.
Community is a huge part of what we do,
Absolutely.
I mean, an organic community, right? It's just kind of, it's really hard to find just grounded people nowadays who aren't draining you.
Yeah.
It's
not easy. It's not normal.
It's not normal
by any
for sure.
means.
It's
In
not
terms of
normal.
our society, no,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
How about Sister Emily? I think community, right? People need to hear that message. You're at the temple. You're with us. You're also a leader at your job. So you're a leader at many communities. And you bring spirituality, it's what grounds you. Can you share about that?
Yeah, I haven't always brought my spirituality where I go. But whenever I began meditation, I noticed what I practiced, and whenever I brought it to my workplace or the temple, it comes from a sense of purpose, and that purpose is to serve God, to serve myself, to serve community. And whenever we can go to the temple, not everybody goes to the temple to serve God. A lot of people go there to, get miracles or to be there with solely community, to socialize. But whenever we can bring that heart where we go, including the workplace, this week I began treating others that did not follow with love, bringing that to them instead of firing back whenever they would fire at me. Instead, I would have compassion, and I've been practicing that a lot lately. And I noticed whenever I gave, certain people that have been kind of coming at me, whenever I switched it to having compassion, but also showing them compassion and showing them an act of love. Today, I got multiple texts and multiple calls from that person saying, what can I do to make your job easier? What can I do for you? And I don't think I've ever heard that from this person. Usually it's calling me and yelling at me. So it's showing me that what I'm doing is working. Even though I didn't do it to see results, it's nice to be able to see those results at time, you know, because if we keep on doing the same things and if we don't see it making a difference or don't see change, then shifting that to something different. And also leading with heart, being there from the heart, knowing we have a job to get done, but also connecting with those around us is so important. That a lot of corporations or communities are lacking, even spiritual communities, I feel like, can lack that heart-based connection. And that starts with providing a safe space or being that safe space for somebody and listening, not always just hearing to talk or to respond, but really, really listening with your heart on what people have to say, because sometimes people will come to you with something that you've been through. Like my leasing agent is going through some issues that I've gone through in the past, and it just hit very close to home whenever she started telling me, you know, why she missed work on Monday, and being able to provide that space for others while listening and speaking when you're led, but truly listening and caring is what a lot of organizations are lacking. So knowing that we can be that change wherever we are, even if it's in our very small community, it can help impact in whatever way we're meant to at the time.
Yeah, like it's real mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
It's missing nowadays because a lot of mentorship, it's like they just send people places, go learn for a couple hours or whatever, but do they really learn it to their heart? Do they get the concept? Because they need more than just classes to take. They need somebody to guide them, and those people, it's on a job, right? Or it's like a community of people, like we're sharing how we make it. Like everybody has a mastery. Your master is in your field, and the more and of course we're not tending to a lot. It's just that's why the group.
It's just the people around us.
We have to deal with the people who show up consistently. That's why I share with y'all everything. That's why as I show up to the temple, the master will show you much more because you show up. And there's some people who don't show up but need to be mentored, and that's called your job.
Yeah. I'm just very grateful that I've been, I'm where I am now.
Takes a lot of patience to deal with people sometimes.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, it does. But it's worth it in the end, you know, to have that patience, and it also helps to develop yourself.
Yeah. Being a lighthouse in a corporate environment, it's like an angel. But you have to make sure your cup better be full, or else they're going to come drain the hell out of you.
You know, so many of my employees have been telling me lately how being at work is like their escape from reality. Like whenever they're at work, they can really focus on their work, and it's an escape from what they're going through in their personal life. So I don't want to be an escape from their personal life, but knowing that the environment that we create where we are on a daily basis can be a safe haven for somebody else is inspiring.
Well, this is called the real work, because when you create the inner sanctuary, whatever you do, like over here, right? Everything that we do is a sacred thing. That's why I love all the stuff we do, because we create sacred things, but it starts from within. So at your job, you're literally turning your job into a sanctuary. But of course, who said you can't do that? But it's hard to tell people how it works, because if I told you, like if the universe told you're going to turn your workspace into the temple, you wouldn't believe it. But now it's like, imagine what's possible, but it starts with us treating ourselves, our life holy, feeling it, and then people wanting to come to work because it feels like a sanctuary. when
That's so rare.
yeah, when before they're
Crazy.
like trying to leave work to go to
Mhm.
happy hour sanctuary.
Mhm.
And so great testimonial. It's just, but you're not surprised, because
You've shown me, the master has shown me, and
yeah,
it's about paying attention, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so you're showing all the people that you're mentoring the same thing, and then because that's why I don't even just keep serving, because you know you're gonna impact people and their families will get
Mhm.
better, and you're gonna do it. I told you, right? Like that's it. I told you, but they don't believe. But when you show up fiercely and consistently, and like boldly, they're like, oh damn, she ain't playing around.
Mhm.
What else is possible?
Yeah.
Boom, and they start coming to on Sundays to
Yeah.
meditate.
Yeah.
How about Brother Charles? Community. Yeah, what can you why is spiritual community important, and what is it like to not have a grounded community?
I guess what comes to mind with that is, especially in spiritual community, that we're supposed to bring the practice into our community. We're supposed to bring our meditation into our daily life. It's not just something to do for 30 minutes, cross it off mark the checkbox, and then just do whatever you want to do, let your mind do whatever it wants to do. And so if we can bring our practice, embody our practice, and bring it into our communities, and if we have others who are doing the same thing, then I guess we change reality. We change everything.
In the beginning, I thought it was impossible to be practicing all the time because it's too crazy, until I tried it. Because it requires you it requires you paying attention all the time. I'm that's kind of crazy to like just pay attention to your breath, your posture all day. The mind goes, that's tiring. But as you try it, in the beginning I did it heavily with my mind. So I began to be like really robotic Zen. And as we become more like practice, we stop practicing mindfulness with our minds. Right? It becomes less mind, even though it's called mindfulness. When you use less of it, it's like the mind of Buddha, the mind of God starts to like saturate everything without you trying. And it's very difficult in the beginning, right? The first 5 years of mindfulness practice, it's not the first 3 years, right? The first year, right? Everything, it's so difficult at the beginning because the mind just doesn't believe this is it. This is the holy place. It's just now, like, no, it's not, But with community and finding community that would reinforce that in a grounded way, that wasn't so like cult-like behavior, right? When we're together, it's not a cult. It's more of what we practice. We focus on result. What can you share about that, brother? Result-driven community.
I mean, for me, whenever I am able to stay in that moment, I use way less energy, like that mental energy, just letting it go all over the place, just actually being present throughout the day. I have more energy to do what needs to be done. And so if we were all to do that as a community, then we would have enough energy to tackle the hard sort of concerns. I mean, people are suffering. And, if we're just too beat up from work or our mind is like racing all the time and wasting energy. If we could conserve that energy, we might be able to actually make some real change.
Amen to that. For sure. And of course, it requires us taking this thing seriously. Like the whole group here, we're very serious about helping people. We're serious about meditation, about the art of happiness, really. And I care about results. I'm not here to talk about Zen and be cute with no results. And why? Because the master is results driven, right? And being balanced. Like, you need money, but how much money? You need a plan, but not so much planning that you're stressed all the damn time, right? So everything is like the middle way. So you have to see how far, like, okay, what's too much, what's too little, and the only way to figure out is to plan. Is that too much? Because you can visualize, is that too much planning? Like, if you're going on a camping trip, right, how many toilet paper should you bring? What kind? Right, you can do it so much to where it stresses you out. But if you plan too little, you might be suffering later using leaves. Yeah, using leaves to wipe your butt or whatever, right? So it's the art of paying attention. This time we didn't bring enough toilet paper and we forgot the utensils. Ouch. So every little mistake, if we pay attention, it turns into, remember that time where we went camping and we didn't bring utensils? Never forget that again. What can you talk about a life that's paying attention and not paying attention as much? Because maybe before you were not, and now you are.
When I pay attention, I notice things a lot faster in terms of, I notice what's causing me suffering, what's causing me to be off balance. And even though sometimes I might not respond as quickly as I'd like to, I am still aware of it, and I'm still able to know that there's a change that's needed in terms of getting myself back to balance and getting myself back to that middle way, as opposed to staying in one extreme or the next. And personally, I have had, like, I'm all in or I'm all out. And a lot of times that can be consequential.
Yes.
And finding that balance has been something that I've been really striving for. And when I'm aware of what's going on and I am in the moment present, I can understand that certain things, even certain thoughts, can come up, and those can cause suffering, or I can allow them to just go and be more present, as opposed to worrying about, say, the future or dreading the past. It's not easy to do, but the more you practice it, like with anything, the more you practice meditation, the easier it gets, and the more I can stay in the moment and process. And yeah.
Well, when we talk about all these things right now, that we're sharing the treasures we have discovered and journeyed to the Himalayas within our own life to find the truth. Very boring, right? What we're talking about here is plain Jane, right? Pay attention. That's so cliche,
Be
right?
aware. Yeah.
Be in the now. It's so crucial. And here's the thing, is like, when you talk about, like, when we just want to make the all or nothing, when we just want to jump to conclusions about something, it's called laziness, people. Because I catch myself, when you're sick, your mind wants to be more lazy. You just don't want to think things out because you just want to set it and forget it, like the rotisserie chicken. Set it and forget it because it's laziness. But to pay attention to your life requires you not being lazy in your life. paying attention to your, like if you're somebody who's overweight, pay attention to your weight. It's uncomfortable, but it's gonna help you realize, I have been eating too much tortillas lately. Oh yeah, I've been eating donuts every morning. I shouldn't. Why? Because you've been noticing your weight, right? And or you've been paying attention. Your shoulders have been hurting. Why? When you're drumming, maybe you feel nervous, and so you naturally
it's me for work.
Yeah. So you have to remember, relax your
I have
body.
to remember, yeah.
When I used to sing high pitches on stream, naturally, for a whole year, my shoulders would be untamed, and I would squeeze my voice and then I was like, every stream, my shoulder would hurt. After about a year, I worked on it hard because I got tired of suffering every stream, and so I started, in a moment, paying attention. And started singing in a way where you need to squeeze my shoulders to squeeze my voice, because my brain like needed to squeeze my voice, and I used that. So I detached my shoulders from my voice, and I became free. But of course, that requires you paying attention. Right? It requires me paying it. Like, do I have to squeeze my shoulders to sing high pitch? No, I don't. But I did it out of habit.
It's easier, probably.
Right? Do I have to stop by Chipley's before going to work every day? No, I don't. Do I need a Starbucks mocha, smoothie, frappuccino? Right? Do you need it every day? No, you don't. Once in a while, it's a treat. It's a dessert. Right? 7-Eleven, they got $2 coffee or $1 coffee. No, I want to drive through and have, whole milk, soy milk, almond milk.
Brown sugar, iced oat milk shake and espresso.
Yes. 10 pumps.
The sugar.
And they sit there. Oh, yeah, that's Emily, isn't it?
Not anymore. It used to be me.
How about Sister Emily? From your heart about what? Discipline, and let's switch to discipline and community. How your habits have changed through your spiritual devotion, right? Because you've changed so much spending habits in your life. And I think a lot of people can learn from your change in, you didn't go to mimosas, you don't need to go to Starbucks as much. Even your vehicle changed.
At Starbucks. Yeah.
No link in bio.
I grew up with a lack of money. We didn't have a lot of money growing up. I didn't have things just handed to me. I had to work hard for what I have, I think all of us here, right? And whenever I began to get money, and it wasn't even a lot of money, but whenever I had the money to be able to spend on certain things, that started to make me feel power and like I had value, because we grow up in a society thinking that material items bring value. A house, tons of crystals.
Do you remember the first thing you bought that was like make you feel valuable?
My Louis Vuitton purse. 100%.
The thing that you still have, right?
Oh, I still have it. It's lasted me for forever.
Shout out to Louis Vuitton. They make good bags.
But I had always, I was a new manager, and all of my higher ups would walk around with certain bags, with certain shoes. They dressed a certain way. And I always envied that, just based off of the material items that they had. So, of course, that was the first thing that I wanted. And the sad thing is so many people can just purchase big items, but then they're broke after, right? Like you have a really nice car, but you live in a shack, or, you're spending all this money on a mansion, but there's nothing inside.
Hood rich, hood
Yeah,
rich.
hood rich, exactly. And we find value in material items. And I began relying very heavily on my purchases. And even whenever I became spiritual, I was going to the metaphysical shop like 2 times a week, 1 time a week, because I was so stressed at work. I was like, oh, the crystals can heal me. The sage can heal me. It can give me less anxiety. And I began to rely so heavily on that, as well as purchasing substance, as well as purchasing my Mercedes and just all these different items, because I thought that it would bring me happiness. I thought that it would bring me healing. And then I started to have all these things, and I realized that I still wasn't happy within. Like, I have all these items around me. I even had a 3-bedroom house with a spiral staircase going up to the loft that overlooked in the living room. But on the inside of that house, it was empty. There was no love. There was no happiness. There was no peace. I was waking up every morning drinking before I went to work. So that's when I decided I needed to do something different, because what I was doing obviously wasn't working. And whenever we begin to meditate, whenever we begin to really work on and develop ourselves and look at the harder parts within us that are sometimes a little bit harder to look at, you begin to feel lighter. You begin to enjoy truly the simple things in life. I remember the first time I forgave my grandma, and I talk about this all the time, but literally the following day I go to the park to meditate, and I felt connected. I felt a connection to other people and the world around me that I had never experienced before. The colors were more vibrant. People walking past me, like, the energy was different. Yeah. And that was because the energy had shifted inside of me, because I had finally unlocked something within my heart that I had closed off for so long. And with consistency, it's incredible how much that can shift our perception of life, our perception of ourselves, and the feeling that we really feel within. And it's incredible. With consistency, with meditation, we begin to need less on the exterior and feel more on the inside. And whenever we shift from the inside out, eventually the physical world around us begins to change, because we do feel that peace within. So things around us, our environments begin to stabilize, but it takes a little while, because we sometimes have certain karmas that we have to work through. So it's been a journey, and I'm excited to see, what the future is, because I mean, the more that we develop ourselves, it's going to continue developing.
It hasn't been long since you've been with us, the group, really. It's been what, 2 years or 2.5 years?
Since 2020.
Such a short period of time.
So 3 years, let's say 3 years. It's not that long to progress this much with good people, right? Because many communities are going to be linked in the bio. $10,000 consultation for psychic teaching, what the heck, right? And this is why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Because somebody's got to do their best, and the truth is painful sometimes, but it will set us free.
Yeah.
How about our brother Charles, the newest member to the Mystic Villagers? Dun 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 dun. How has spiritual community, what makes you return? I think people need to hear it. You're back with us and spiritual community. Why? Like, why is spiritual community, why do you feel connected to what we're doing? Simply put.
It's just a vibe. That's all I can say. It's not a mind thing.
Yeah.
My mind sometimes my mind be telling me no, but my body is telling me yes. And that's how I feel like when I'm hanging out with you. My spirit likes your spirit. And so, and then also, just dropping in every maybe like once a year I would come by the park, right? Because I was getting beat down by, my own self, my stress, the job that I thought was gonna be like my purpose turned out to not be what I thought it was gonna be, and so I fell back into a lot of like coping mechanisms, a lot of distraction, and it's hard to get yourself out of that. It's so easy to slide back, and then I'm not working out anymore, and I'm just playing video games all day, and that stops working too. That's the thing, the distractions stop working. And so it's like, damn, well, man, I need to make a change, something I have to make a change. And then I'm that decision, just making that decision, just wanting that change, that's all that's needed. And then here I am coming back around to the park, and I remember the first time when I first came around, like maybe like a month ago, was it? Like a month. And I was having tea with a friend, and they were having a hard time, like
chilling.
Well, because it's a whole different kind of method, the way y'all do your sound baths versus like the really zen, the really peaceful ones. Like there might just be singing bowls and that's it. Whereas like sometimes you're like, really trying to push people's like, the way's easy if you have no preferences, right? And so if we bring our preferences to spiritual practices, then that leads to like, you're cutting yourself off from the moment. If you're not getting your preferences met, like, oh, I have to meditate like this, or oh, I have to do this. And so that was how I perceived the experience of the friend that I brought. But for me, the rest of the day, I was just like so feeling so good. So I was like, oh, okay. And then just seeing like all the people that are also coming back and stuff. And so I was like, maybe that I didn't just think like, oh, I want to be a part of that, I want to get up in that, but I was definitely like, okay, I need to start coming a little bit more. And so that's originally why I started coming. Like,
what do you think it was when you what epiphany do you think you had? That was it simply just feeling good?
It was just feeling good, just feeling real good. Like after the meditation, I go to authentic relating games, and when I was there that day, I was just like so peace, and everyone was like, they're like, what is your deal? Like,
he's different.
I like so that's when I knew, it was like, I think I need to be around this more. And then that sort of led to, hey, like, I want to play music with y'all beforehand, and then it just kind of progressed.
Well, simply what we do is just we try to keep things as pure as possible. Unconditional love. That's all I could say. And it's hard to explain to people that's what that is, because that art form is almost missing, and the master taught me very well about how to open the mandala in the space. And of course, like we learn it very well. So you're in a process right now. Like eventually you'll get it too, and then the energy. Because eventually your confidence and your exploration will mature, which takes time. And because everybody, right, we all have to mature, and because we're just getting started. We're not promoting much. And when we look at the result of at the park or even online, unconditional love is like there's no link in the bio. We're not selling anything. We're not trying to get people to come to any yoga studio. They don't have to show up. They could leave anytime. It's like, what? People's brain gets confused that they can do whatever the heck they want and still be accepted. And that's what I needed, right? When I went to spiritual communities and I felt like I had to fit in for whatever, right? You don't have to wear boho clothing. You don't have to wear a shirt with the whole chakra system on it to fit in. Just show up with your t-shirt and jeans or shorts, whatever, and just chill. And that's enough. It's like too good to be true that when people feel it for the first time, they don't come back for a while because they feel great, right? They feel great. Why would you? And then they realize without it, their week's different. And then their life change. And then they don't come back for a while. Because why? They don't realize it's unconditional love that they're feeling from what we're generating. So when we're opening the mandala, we're opening our hearts together. We're letting the universe, the Buddha, or whatever God use us, and random music comes out that presses. There's like a trigger button, and there's a button to release. So we help press out a button that says, it's okay to trust, and all the chakras open. And then we're in bliss. And at the end, we close the chakras, we seal it with a bow, and it goes on the whole week, right? After that week, they slowly unravel, and they're like, oh, no more energy. Because they don't practice throughout their day keeping their sacred treasure called unconditional love alive. And so when we keep that unconditional love alive throughout our day, the universe starts telling us, hey, go to this event. Don't collaborate with these people. Be careful. Watch that investment. Watch that person. Because I don't think about this. The universe just tells me keep an eye on things. Or if I need to know something, God has so many messengers to where if I need to know something, I just end up birds are everything. And I didn't believe it at first. But when you start serving God, you start knowing everything without you needing to find out. Because why? You work for God. How is that? Do you have something similar like that in your life, Brother Sean? Welcoming Sister Bonnie. Huma. Let me read some comment. Positive spiritual health is just as important as mental, emotion, and physical. Welcoming Sister Bonnie. Nice to see you here.
Yeah, having faith is something that I never really understood, or I suppose actively fought against in a way, because I just didn't know, and I wanted to know. Like I had to know for a fact, because I was very scientific. Since I was very young, 14, 13, I don't remember when I stopped really thinking that there was a spiritual aspect to life, and when I started just completely believing in science and nothing else.
Me too.
Until I had I suppose a traumatic experience, but in reality it was just a long period of time of just neglecting the spiritual side of my person. And that caused a lot of suffering, and that suffering led to questioning. I finally started questioning my own concepts of reality and my own understanding of what it was to be me. And that led to just going down this crazy path of
Rabbit hole.
and then questioning everything. And I still question everything, because I think that's one of the healthiest things to do. But along with that questioning, you have to have a lot of faith. that when you do question something and you get an answer, like immediately, sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'll ask a question in my meditations, and like without hesitation, I'll get a response. And I was like, what was that? Right? Was that real? Was that just my mind? But then having that faith that no, that is real, because seeing it repeatedly happen and just trusting the process and knowing that when you ask a question and you get an immediate response, and then just to trust that, have faith that that is your heart speaking, that is God speaking. It takes a while to build, but it is very powerful. And it's something that has really had a big impact on my life, for sure.
Which required you to be disciplined in meditation for a extended amount of time.
You can't just, I didn't get there for a long time, years. And I suppose that's because I wasn't as disciplined with my meditations. But yeah, practicing the same place, the same time, pretty much every single day, you get to a point where you do start going into this place that's beyond comprehension, and it's hard to, you can't even explain it. I don't know. Yeah.
It's a holy place. It's like a relationship. It's a deeper relationship with your self that's beyond. It doesn't need to be a setting, right? It's just more of a relationship. You can call that God, higher self. But in Buddhism term, it's like really the non-self. And anything else on your heart? What can you share with brothers and sisters who have a difficult time with that part, with that connection to that holy place?
Practice really does make perfect, and it's impossible to force anything in terms of meditation. Like, you can't force your mind into the meditative state. And then once you get into that meditative state, you can't force the mind into the, whatever you want to call it, the holy state, the enlightened state of mind.
That means he's tried.
Yeah, for sure. It's just...
Excuse me.
Literally just focusing on your breath like that. I don't know how else to explain it, but just continually, every time the mind drifts, bring it back to the breath, finding different ways to keep your mind still while you're focusing on your breath, like playing a game, counting to 10, finding different ways to count to 10, whether it's on the inhale, the exhale, not actually counting, but using visualizations with your mind, like you visualize the number 1, you visualize the number 2 as you're doing it.
Yeah.
So that you're not actually thinking it to a certain point.
Well, the Buddha calls it, happiness is not the destination. Happiness is the journey. So you practice to enjoy. The mind doesn't know. We're not trying to achieve happiness or peace. The peace is already here, but the mind doesn't believe it at first. It's trying, why don't I feel relaxed? I'm doing everything.
Yeah, the mind gets annoyed.
Yeah, the mind is like...
impatient.
Yeah, some days in the past when I meditate and my mind was noisy, I realize my mind's noisy. I watch, my peaceful heart watches my mind be noisy. Because some days you're just more stressful.
Some days it's just not going to happen, and that's got to be okay, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I think another thing that really helped me was the visualization of the orb, and with a dot of light, and I'll visualize thoughts like trying to come into my mind, I suppose, or like I can feel them coming, like penetrating my brain or whatever you want to call it. And as opposed to them coming into my brain, it's just like the thoughts go straight into the orb. It's a weird feeling. And like that just like...
Instant.
Yeah, it's just clarity in terms of not having these thoughts that you don't want to have while you're trying to meditate.
And which is why we practice that style, because it's not a beginner style. And also, if your temperature of your body is more cold, which is how I got sick. I noticed my body was more cold, and I knew I should have done the tumo, but I didn't. Because I noticed, because sometimes you pick up energy that makes you more cold, and my duty is to transmute it. I didn't transmute it right away. And I needed to... And so instead, that seed of cold begins to this, like it brings disharmony that makes your chakra system disharmony. And so that reminds me, use that tool, because it's a new tool that I haven't really explored much. But as we help more people, we need powerful tools, because why? I realize where I'm going, I'm going to be a trash can. People are going to dump their energy onto me, and it's going to be cold and sad and hard, and I just need to absorb it.
I mean, it's really powerful. I don't know how. At first, it took me a while to like understand what it was, but then just like literally just visualizing it sucking everything in, and it just does.
It's like a white hole. Instead of a black hole that's destructive, it turns everything, purifies everything. And the beautiful part is, it's just, there's more that I could share with you. For example, like as we're meditating to keep this space pure, I could visualize this whole space in the orb and keep it protected, so the whole space is in the orb. So when we're at, so I did, but then again, we don't need to do all that, right? It's just, if you know that technique, it's something that you could do. Like if you don't feel something is safe, you can protect it and put it into the orb. If you feel like you need to heal your dog, you can put your dog into the orb and just let it fill with light. But of course, everything still goes to the center. Again, more technical, needs a lot of 7-point system first, and the rest naturally happens. And as we help more people, because the mandala will need to be bigger. Because why? The more people you help, the tools need to keep expanding. Not just physical tools, but metaphysical tools. But this is why it's more secret art, you know? Like we don't tell everybody about what we do secretly behind closed door. Because why? Many people want the mystical secret arts without doing the 7-point system, which is leg crossed, back straight, head slightly tilted, and just be still and just watch your wandering mind. But once we have that, when you introduce new systems, it's still like amazing, foundation. Let's go to let's see what time we got. 5 minutes. Let's go to just say last words from from everybody. Start with Sister Emily. Why should people find spiritual community that they feel connected with? Because sometimes they're part of communities that they pay to be a part of. Why should they find communities that aren't looking to make money from them? This is controversial. It's not really controversial, okay? But nowadays this is why. Because everybody is looking to make $50 from you for a subscription, right? Even Insight Timer. But Insight Timer don't make you. But there's people who are like, well, if you want to be closer to me, you want a one-on-one, that's gonna be $2,000 for any mentorship. Why should people try to find communities that are unconditional loving? I can't find those.
I've been a part of both communities, the ones that charge and the ones that don't. And speaking from personal experience, the paid, it did get me into spirituality. But at the end of the day, they were trying to build this community to sell more crystals, to sell tarot cards, to sell additional classes. And my work began to be stagnant, but also I didn't feel that true connection with another human being, right? I didn't feel that love. And not saying that all practitioners are like that, but whenever there are stipulations of, in order for you to learn from somebody, or in order for you to have work done, energy work, or whatever it may be, it becomes conditional. And I truly believe that if you're looking to find your spiritual community and you're searching for it and you haven't found it yet and you think that you're going to continue practicing alone for forever and meditating alone and you're not going to find your tribe, the more inner work that we do within ourselves, we begin to attract what it is that will help us to grow. And if we are doing the pure work within ourselves, then that'll translate out into the physical world and we will find our tribe. But whenever we find a community that doesn't charge money, that's not looking for, that doesn't have expectations from other people, and that are not looking for something monetary or to trade something with that person, but they're just doing it from unconditional love and sharing what works for them and sharing what they've learned, then we can do that for others. And other people might not have the money to be able to spend that on, or they might not know that that's what will help them. You know, meditation, sound healing, whatever it is, even our experiences. And whenever we can just share that unconditionally, it just goes further, I feel like, you know, like with the master, with his healings and with the amount of people that he helps on a daily basis, it's just incredible, because whenever we help others, just one person, think of helping that one person and they begin to be happier and they begin to find things that work for them in meditation or being more mindful at work or being aware, focusing on the breath, finding trauma from their past and healing that, then in turn they can go and help their community, which is their family, or their community, which is their work. And then the trifecta just continues and continues and continues. And I feel like that's what truly makes the world a better place, because if we're putting a condition on the spiritual work that we are doing, then we're limiting ourselves from the people that we help, because every person that comes into our life, every experience, every situation that comes into our life, God is putting those people into our life for a reason. And if we're just basing it off of what they can give to us and then I'll help them, then we're blocking that energy of love, that energy of flow, and we're blocking us serving God at that point because we're putting conditions on it.
And Brother Charles, for people looking for spiritual community, since you're the newest one here, what can you tell them about not giving up or keep seeking?
I think it's natural and healthy as humans. You know, we're spirits having a human experience, right? And part of being human is we are social creatures. That means that we will literally go crazy if we're not around other humans. Mm-hmm. Our nervous system needs help to regulate. We need each other to regulate each other's nervous systems. We need each other's frequencies. We need each other's thoughts and perspectives. And so these communities that are conditional or pay to play, they know that. And so they're sort of monetizing something that is innate and natural and needed for our health and wellness. From that perspective, it's almost exploitive, almost.
Well, you can say it's inauthentic.
Because it's something that we need to live, we need to be happy. And so it's like water. So if I'm putting a price on water, which you need to live, there's a moral sort of question. It's well, you don't want your fellow humans to live. You don't want them to, if they can't afford water, they just, oh well, sorry, just die, just go ahead and die, sorry. And it's the same with the, conditional monetizing something that we need to be healthy and thrive. So when I was in my path, I had maybe a incorrect view of like Buddhism and non-attachment, to where I felt like guilt and shame for the natural like wanting of community and wanting of connection. And so it's been interesting now that I would say that's the path of asceticism. That's what the Buddha tried, where he was, I'm not gonna wash, I'm gonna eat 1 grain of rice, and then, he also tried the hedonism, the tantra of just experience, sensation, but then he found that middle path. And it's the same with us in our need of community. And so don't give up, just keep putting yourself out there, and because that's really what's going to make you happy. At the end of the day, we want connection, because at the end of the day, it's all one. So
settle high, like I never thought, I wish I would have just found a group like this, but instead God's like, well, if you can't find it, make it, create it. Because imagine looking for so long for something like this. But the beautiful part is that eventually I found the master who showed me how to maintain spiritual community without needing to charge, because he doesn't charge anybody. And he showed me how to be a leader, the best that he can show me, I think. And to hold on, to practice the principles that you talk about, to stay true to yourself, and to not think practice business as usual, right? There's no 10%, there's no offering basket being passed around, there's just a jar. There's no like confrontation. Is you can, but you don't have to. And this is, we just continue that same lineage, because why? It makes the ego, the mind is not used to it. When the mind's like, wait, I'm getting so much, and they're not asking for money. It's different. They're giving quality sound baths, crystal bowls, and all this effort, and they don't need money from me. What? And I feel great at the end. Right? I feel great at the end of the day. And it feels great because you know that people are showing up. They're not because they paid for a ticket. They show up because they're open to experiencing this free thing. But this free thing happens to be dope. And so the people that love it will come forever. Right? And the people that don't like it, they might come on a bad day. Why? Because it's still free. And so I'm just grateful, because I think about the ancestors a lot. I think about the temples that my ancestors visit. Nobody charged them money to go to those temples, to go bow to the statue. Right? And I think this is part of my blessing. When Thai people go on vacations, they go to a free temple. Right? They vacation to a free place still. Even though they're on vacation, they get to see pretty Buddha statues outside the city. They can donate money if they want to. They can also just eat for free with the monks. It's like, what? It's too good to be true. And it's why people come to Thailand for tourism, because people are happy there. People want to like have a nomadic life where they work remotely from Chiang Mai, which is the northern part of Thailand. Because why? People are happy. And why don't we bring that energy to the inner city of America? Why don't we bring that to Los Angeles, to New York City? Instead, many people are moving outside of the inner city. But God tells me that's the easy way. and I don't have children, right? And so it makes me, and the master's on the edge of the inner city. Perfect. We're mobile, so we can go anywhere. And so I'm just grateful to serve and do. I'm grateful that we can be here on Insight Timer. I'm grateful I could be on TikTok. I'm grateful I could be, and I don't need to tell people, link in the bio, come get a one-on-one. And I looked into it. I've tried it, and I was like, it wasn't really inspiring, because it just feels, when it feels wrong, it's hard for me to do. Like when I felt I cannot do massage therapy, like God tells you this is not the way, and some people take longer to listen, right? Buffalo Bayou Park is not the way, right? It's the wrong way. Go back to the park. Okay, we're back here. Oh, it's great, right? It's just some drama. Keep going, brothers and sisters. If you can't find it, be the change you wish to see in the world. Final word from Brother Sean.
Love your damn self.
Temples are destination for yummy vegetarian food, says Huma. Amen to that. So thank you, everybody. Nikki, thank you for the donations from B. Thank you, Jackie. And tomorrow we will be...
Are you going to live stream it?
I can. I may. On TikTok. So, Buffalo Bayou, too many floods. Yeah, well, it's still beautiful. It's loud, but we got kicked out during the pandemic. But then we just kicked ourselves back in. So, anyways, thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful night. And the TikTok is Guru Tanet. Okay, Guru Tanet. If you want to check out. Once I feel better, then I'll start scheduling more stuff on Insight Timer. And Brother Sean is also on Insight Timer on Tuesday and Thursday on his 4 p.m. Okay, on his handpan. And good night.
Peace.